Guys, it's Amy from Little Farm Quilts. Here is your skills video for this Tuesday. We're going to talk about cutting out all the pieces for our table runner. So you're going to need 20 2.5-inch squares of black. You're going to need 20 2.5 squares of your white prints, and you're going to need 11 4.5-inch squares of your gray prints. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to cut those out. Get this out of the way. So in preparation for today's video, I went ahead and pressed a couple of my fat quarters so I could show you. This one I pressed using my spray bottle full of water and a little bit of starch to get it nice and flat. And when you iron starch on fabrics, you want to spray the starch on and iron it until the fabrics are dry. If you only iron them and they're still damp, they will wrinkle right up on you. I'm going to fold this fat quarter in half, just like this. And usually on fat quarters, along with other fabric, on the side here there's what we call a selvage, and you can feel it. It's thicker than the rest of the fabric, and if you turn it over to the wrong side, you can usually see holes in the fabric where they've tacked it. You actually want to cut that part off. You don't want that part in this quilt just because it will add density in places it doesn't need to be. So what I do is I take my nice long ruler, and by the way, I got a Joann's flyer today. There's a 50% off any one regular price item, good on August 2nd, which is Friday? Thursday. I think it's Thursday. So go ahead and go to Joann's and get some supplies. Well, back to cutting. I've chosen the small rotary cutter, and you notice that I don't open it until I'm ready to use it. I'm lining up here the ruler. This line at the bottom of the ruler, or one of them, just pick a line along the straight edge that I created with the fold. That way you get a straight up and down cut. I'm going to hold my ruler and I'm just going to cut. Now you don't have to hold the ruler like it's going down through the table. Just firmly place it. As you can see on the back of my ruler, I have medical tape here, and that has helped keep my rulers from slipping. So the next thing you want to do, I'm right-handed. So this is my clean edge that I want to work with now because that's what I've trimmed off. I want to flip that over to the left side just like that and make sure they stay lined up. Because what I'm going to do now, I should move this fabric out of the way, is I'm going to take the ruler. These are 1-inch increments, so I want 2.5 inches. So this is going to be 1 inch, 2 inch, right to the second orange line. So you're going to place the ruler down and you're going to take it to that second orange line is on the edge of the fabric. Now when I say on the edge, I mean on the edge. So just to the point where you have no fabric showing on the other side of the line, but that line's sitting on your fabric. If you move it too far and the line is not sitting on the fabric, you will lose some of your fabric width. And it may only be a teeny tiny bit, but that will add up over time in the project. So you don't want to do that. So you hold your ruler, your blade is out, and you just cut. And if you've got a nice good blade in there, it cuts it nice and clean. I'm going to set that aside. And we're kind of going to do the same thing. We're going to turn this piece like this because we already have 2.5 inches this way. Now we have to get 2.5 inches this way. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to straighten up the end over here by lining up the line on the bottom of the strip. Have all your edges out here so you can straighten that up and take those right off and move them aside. So again, I'm going to turn this around because I'm right-handed, and I'm going to work from left to right. This is where it becomes kind of, nerve-wracking for most people, I think, because you're cutting in smaller pieces and you want to make sure you have it right. But I have done the same thing here. We're going 2.5 inches. We've got 2.5 inches this way, and I've got 2.5 inches this way, and I have that line sitting right on the end of the fabric. And you want to cut. Move this aside Move these out of the way, and you're going to do it again. All the way down. So out of one strip on my fat quarter, I'm getting probably, it looks like 6 blocks. And then I will save these because I do scrap quilting with these bits. So you want to cut enough strips out of your white fabrics to get 20 of these white blocks, and you want to do the same technique with your blacks. The grays will work the same. Let me pull my gray over here. I'm going to fold it in half just like I did the others. You're just going to do it to the 4.5 inch line. So same technique. I'm going to trim off the end and make it nice and straight. Just like that. Remember, you got to take one of these lines on this ruler and put it across the bottom so you have a nice straight cut. I always close my blade, or try to remember to close my blade, because I've bumped my hand in it a few times, and actually they're so sharp that just bumping into it, you get a cut. And so here we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do 4.5 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that second orange line on my ruler is a half. And I want to make sure that orange line is sitting on the fabric. And then I'm going to hold my ruler down and cut. I'm going to set this off to the side. And you'll need 11 of these 4.5 inch squares. And again, we have selvage over here. You can see the difference in the grain here. And if you feel it, you can feel on a lot of fabrics the bump. I'm cutting the selvage off. So I'm lining this line across the bottom. And I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to do the 4.5 again. Except I'm going to line up the bottom line and the side line. So that side line is already on the fabric. The bottom line is lined up across the bottom. And I'm going to cut. And you need to keep doing that with your gray fabrics until you have 11 4.5 inch squares. Again, I'll put all that in the description of this video so that you can see it. But you will need 20 white squares, 20 black squares, and 11 gray squares that are the 4.5 inches. If you have any questions, just comment on this video and I'll answer them as best I can. If you need help, we can video chat, and I can come on live again later this week and we can go through it. But Sunday we're going to be sewing. So get your supplies and start cutting, and I'll meet you right back here on Sunday. Have a good night.